the long conversations I've had with Irina and about the many letters and packages I've received from Irina's parents in the mail, often filled with books.
The mailman came. The mailman came. Thank you for the book of poems, for the little note I did like it said. Started with a poem on page 23, and I have heard this one before, and it's beautiful, beautiful. Especially the part about the tree. So beautiful. So I went inside and I made some tea, and I listened to the man on the radio. He was telling us how it's all gonna be. He was telling us how it's all gotta go. And I have heard this one before, and it's beautiful, but it's a pack of lies. Especially the part about what God wants. But it's beautiful. Dad died this past winter time. We were standing by a hole in the frozen ground. But my little niece lost another tooth. Today the air is warm and the blackbirds have returned. And I have heard this one before, and it's beautiful, still beautiful. Especially the part that we can't quite name. So beautiful. Thank you for the book of poems.
Now I would like to ask several of Irina's professors and colleagues to say a few words in memory of her. We will hear from Dr. Richard Larson, Irina's dissertation advisor, Dr. Robert Hoberman, the current chair of the linguistics department, and Irina's colleagues Susanna and Jishan.
Thank you. I want to thank the student organizers for this lovely ceremony, for the efforts they put into organizing it. It's a wonderful tribute to one of our students. I was Irina's advisor at the time she passed away. She'd also been a student in several of my classes, as well as my PA, so I got to know her fairly well over the years. Others will speak about certain aspects of her. I want to concentrate on some special ones. Irina was an unusual individual, even quirky in certain respects. She was a relentless perfectionist in her work, which took a personal toll very often on her. And she could be remarkably stubborn in pursuit of her own ideas, which took a certain toll on us. I understand Edith's tears. Stubborn perfectionism often yields irritability, and I could see that in her too. She could be difficult. Yeah. And although it may seem surprising, I valued all those things in her. I came to linguistics from anthropology, from British social anthropology, which contains a large number of extremely bright, highly eccentric, exceedingly idiosyncratic individuals. I loved it. Not just for the subject matter, but also because the diversity of the people in it seemed to reflect the diversity of the field subject matter itself. And when I came to linguistics, I was very happy to find that property continued. Perhaps again because of the diversity of what we study, linguistics as a field is a very diverse enterprise full of all sorts of interesting and very quirky people. Irina, to me, fit in perfectly. Intelligence, quirkiness, stubbornness, difficulty, all of that together. I feel myself that a field at its best as a field is at its best as a field when it not only tolerates individuality in its members, but celebrates and welcomes it too. Just as we are at our best as people when we not only tolerate individuality in our teachers and colleagues and our fellow students, but also celebrate it and welcome it. So thank you again to the organizers of this ceremony commemorating Irina Tarabek, a genuine individual. The special individual tree here among so many trees seems to me a very fitting tribute. Thanks.
So, following with Richard's idea, I think that there's only one word to define Irina. Irina was unique. So far, I haven't met anyone with her qualities, and to tell you the truth, I don't think I'm going to find anyone like her. I mean, she was just unique. And it took me some time to understand her nature and her character, because I'm totally the opposite of myself. But it doesn't mean that we cared to each other. I think that we were like fairly close. And so she had three qualities that I really admire most about her, that I don't think that I really have. And I was like trying to learn from her. And it was perseverance, strong-mindedness, and dedication. And I was trying to learn from her. And it was too bad that she's not in here. So I want to say that I really miss Irina because of that. And I want to finish with Native American prayer. And it says like this: I give you this one thought to keep. I'm with you still, I do not sleep. I'm 1,000 winds that blow. I'm the diamond gleams of snow. I'm sunlight on ripened grain. I'm the gentle autumn rain. When you awake in the morning's hush, I'm the swift, afflictive rush of quiet birds in circle flight. I'm the soft stars that shine at night. Do not think of me as gone. I'm with you still in each new dawn. Thank you.
I want to thank Katarina for the tremendous amount of work and effort she put into this commemoration and for inviting me to speak. I became acquainted with Irina in 2004 or 2005 when I was on on the committee for one of her qualifying papers. And later I worked closely with her for several months in the spring of 2007 when she was my teaching assistant in the structure of an uncommonly taught language. I saw what an exceptionally deep interest she took in our individual students and how much insight she had into their personalities, strengths, and needs. She understood much more about them as individual human beings than I did. I also saw how she delighted in working with unfamiliar, difficult linguistic data. When we talked about the students, and equally when we talked about the linguistic problems that we were working on, her face would light up with energy and pleasure. We also had several conversations about comparing the European and American systems of education, and she described how each had some positive aspects that were lacking in the other. On the one hand, as is well known, the American education system encouraged much more independent thinking than education in other countries that she was familiar with. On the other hand, Irina was dismayed to note that compared to European students, American students seemed to read far less, either in their fields or otherwise. except for strictly required readings.